Hey everybody, welcome to the Adequate Rejects. My name is Caleb and this is my personal top 10. These are movies that I think are not necessarily the best ever made, but they're my personal favorites and they're movies that have really influenced me over the years. So we're going to get started with a couple honorable mentions. Alright, number one on honorable mentions list is The Zodiac. The Zodiac is directed by David Fincher, who's one of my personal favorite directors, and it stars Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, and Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's all about the Zodiac murders of the 1970s, and it's about the constant investigation that goes on during it, and it's very good. I think it's criminally overlooked, and you all should check it out. Number two on my honorable mentions is Jurassic Park. This movie was one of my favorites as a kid, and it still is to one of this day. It made me want to be a paleontologist, actually, before I wanted to become a filmmaker, and the special effects are easily some of the best ever put to film, and they still hold up today and are arguably some of the best visual effects ever put to screen. Alright, number three on my honorable mentions list is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? This movie was shown to me at a very young age by my grandfather, and it's just a really good comedy. It has one of the best soundtracks ever put to film. It's really catchy. It's got George Clooney, and it's a retelling of Homer's The Odyssey, and it's done during the Prohibition era, and it's a lot of fun, and you know, honestly, it's one of my favorite soundtracks, and that's why I own it on vinyl. Number 10, I count it as one movie, and I don't care what you say because you have to watch all three of them. You cannot watch them separately. It's Lord of the Rings. These movies are hands down some of the best produced films I've ever seen. The effects, the acting, the story, the direction, everything is wonderfully put together. And I believe it holds the record for most Oscars won in Return of the King with 11. So if you haven't seen the extended editions, definitely check them out. Alright, number 9 is Alien, the original Alien. This is the anthology, but that's all I have. The original Alien was one of the very first horror films I saw, and it was shown to me by my father. And this movie is so great because it really breaks down the simplistic formula of horror, but adds a new twist with the sci-fi element of it. And it really shows that no matter what situation that you're in, it can go bad, on top of just everything can go south very quickly. So check out the original Alien. Alright, number 8, Batman 89. Batman is my favorite comic book character of all time. He's been that way since I was a kid. He's helped me grow up and become who I am today, and I really wouldn't be myself if it wasn't for this Batman character. And Batman 89 was the very first Batman movie that I saw as a kid, and it has constantly influenced me. It's my pick-me-up movie. It's the movie I go watch when I'm having a bad day, or just when I want to just have some fun. So Batman 89, check it out. Okay, number 7 is Fight Club, another David Fincher movie. This is probably my favorite of his, and I think it's his personal best. Has one of the greatest characters ever put to screen in Tyler Durden, played wonderfully by Brad Pitt. Also one of the best endings to a film I have ever seen, and it completely changes the name of the game in terms of plot twists. Alright, number 6, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction, I saw it my freshman or sophomore year in high school. It was my first Tarantino movie, and it completely changed my outlook on film. It showed me that no matter what type of character you have, no matter how horrible or how much of a scumbag they are, they can still be really cool. And this movie is pretty much the testament to that statement, because it takes a bunch of hitmen and drug dealers and makes them relatable, and it turns them into these very, very funny characters. So definitely check out Pulp Fiction. Number 5, The Departed. The Departed. What can I say about this movie? This is my favorite Scorsese movie. I love it because it's just a wonderful cop drama that infuses all kinds of things, from the Boston Mafia to psychotics and just a bunch of fun, classy characters. You have Leo, Matt Damon, Alec Baldwin, Martin Sheen, Jack Nicholson, and a whole bunch of other people in this movie who just take you along for this ride that's full of a bunch of twists and turns, and easily my favorite Scorsese movie. Although Goodfellas is a close second, gotta give it to The Departed. Alright, number 4, Braveheart. Braveheart is my all-time favorite medieval movie. I think it is one of the most amazingly directed films that have ever been produced. I don't care about Mel Gibson's personal life. I think he's a wonderful director, and he's a great actor. He's wonderful in this movie. The cinematics of this film are phenomenal. The landscaping shots of Scotland are probably some of the most beautiful things ever put to film. So go check out Braveheart. Alright, number 3 is a very deep and personal love that I have with this movie. It is Top Gun. Top Gun, I know technically, wow, not the best movie, but I love this movie more than anything. It is solid fun. It has a wonderful romance. It transcends every genre, and I don't care what anyone says. I will defend this movie till the day I die. The reason I love it so much is because when I was a kid, my dad would sit me on his lap and we would watch it on repeat, basically, and him and I watch it together at least once a year. And so I have a lot of deep personal connections with this movie, and it also has the greatest soundtrack ever put to film because it has Kenny Loggins. Okay, number 2 is my favorite horror film of all time, The Shining. Every time I watch this movie, it changes my perspective on what this movie is. It is a movie that constantly keeps me guessing, and it always brings me back for more because every time I watch it, I get a new interpretation of it. It is one of the scariest and deepest films I've ever seen, and I cannot even go on without going into a tangent about this movie. So check it out. Okay, so my number 1 movie of all time, the entire reason I got interested in making movies and wanting to be a part of something bigger than myself and working with a team to make wonderful movies, is Empire Strikes Back. This movie is easily my favorite film of all time. I would give it to the original Star Wars. But the reason I give it to Empire is because it is the movie where the good guys never win. They always get down on their luck and they always lose, and they try to persevere, but then they always get torn back down. And this movie showed me that you can really transport audiences into a different world of what's going on, no matter how horrible the situations are. And it really just, every time I watch it, brings up this childhood wonder inside of me, and it gives me that passion that I want to make movies. So I'm sure you've checked out Empire, but if you haven't, do yourself a favor and go watch it.
Want some of my belly hair?
No.